Needlework. Today is Saturday, May 23rd, and it's right around 12:45 p.m. This is a podcast about stitching and no knitting this week. It's just stitching. This room is what was supposed to be my craft room, and now it's just my home office. And it's pretty empty. All I have in here is a desk and a table, and there's actually a mattress on the floor. So I was going to, get a new desk and get cubbies and get a new bed for in here and a nice chair and everything. But since we're now going to be moving, all that's on hold, because we're gonna replace all the carpet, get new flooring and everything. So then eventually we'll probably just get a bed and maybe some shelving just to, kind of stage it, make it look nice. So anyway, so sorry it's kind of empty in here. Not much to look at. But here's Ginger. She's sleeping on the chair right here. Yeah, she was crazy last time. So unfortunately, you're not going to see her this time. So, let's see, I have a huge pile over here. So I worked a little bit more on a new constellation by Plum Street Samplers. And I basically just worked on the flag down there. So not much more. And this is on 36 count fawn. I Picture This Plus. It's a really pretty linen. And this is one of their newer linens from Market. I'm using all the called for threads. And then later that day after I did my video, I decided to I don't know. I think I'm feeling stressed because of the move. So anytime we are getting ready to move, I do this. I will start big projects, and I don't know. I don't know if it's like a coping mechanism. I don't know what it is. So I decided to just start a teeny tiny bit on stables at I almost said Hawk Run, at Hollyberry Farm, and it's just teeny tiny. And this is on the 36 count Winter's Brew, and that's it. I just kind of wanted to see how the threads were going to look on this linen, and I think it's going to be really pretty. And they're all Weeks Dye Works threads. Very pretty. So I couldn't resist that. And then Ellen Reed started Dutch Beauty, and I kind of said I should stitch along with you. I have all the threads and found a pretty piece of linen, and she's like, you should do it. And what I failed to mention is I'm the world's worst stitch along. You say stitch along, and it something inside me is like, no, I'm not going to do that. But she's already made a great project. This is going to be a mess. I didn't sleep well last night. I woke up at 1 a.m. and had a little headache, so I took some Excedrin, which was probably a huge mistake because it has caffeine in it, and I couldn't get to sleep till 5. So, but anyway, so I did start a teeny tiny bit on Dutch Beauty. I mean, teeny tiny. Because this is a huge sampler. It takes up a whole fat half of linen. I'm sorry, my hair and my fan on is already getting so hot here in South Carolina. So that's it. That is my teeny tiny little start. And this is the antique sampler linen from Victorian Motto. And this is, I did check her blog, and this is going to be one of her stock colors. So I don't know if you've ever seen Paulette Plum Street Sampler's finish of Dutch Beauty, but it is so beautiful, and it inspires me to stitch it. I think she did it on 32 count, so it's really huge, and used 2 strands on 32 count, but it's gorgeous. So, and here's just the DMC. So Ellen, I promise I will get back to it, but I'm definitely not going to be doing what you're doing. You're making amazing progress. So those were my 2 teeny tiny starts. And then, so I also worked just a little bit on Miss Manners by GGR. And so I finished this bird and worked on this urn. And this is on 40 count vintage pecan butter. And that's the antique. And I'm just using some silks I pulled from my stash. So love this, love it. Love this linen too. So pretty. So I saw that The Attic released or got more copies of Frances Eden handwork samplers, Frances Eden, and I had started that a long time ago. So the first time I started it, it was back in 2009, I believe, and it's a horizontal sampler, and I started it as if it was a vertical sampler. So I ended up cutting it out, and what I cut out, I put into a box. And it was funny because when I noticed that I messed up on the sampler, all I had done on the words was "thy work is done." So I was like, yep, it's done. And this is just a little box my friend Amy from Down Sunshine Lane gave me. We were out shopping, so, and it's just stuck in there. It's not even, anyway, I haven't done it. I need to like mount it in there correctly, but it's just kind of a fun little thing. So I did end up restarting a while ago, can't remember exactly when, the right way on the linen. And I had done some of the house, and then last week I pulled it out and finished that house, and then started on, and look what I have. Thy work is done. That's all I've, I don't know. I got the cartouche done, with her name and age and everything. And then, so I'm using the Vicky Clayton silks. And I noticed I was getting really low on this red. I had bought another skein of it, but that was 2 years later, and you can see this one is way more pink. So I contemplated just restarting again, maybe just using the DMC or maybe hand-dyed silks. But I reached out to Abby Bella Stitch because I know she has a lot of Vicky Clayton silks, and asked her if she had this color, and she said no. She said reach out to someone on Instagram called Swanky Sim. So I did, and she said, well, what year? And I'm like, I guess 2009, and she had exactly what I needed, which I thought was amazing. And she got it right in the mail to me, which was so sweet of her. And it matches perfectly. So perfect match. So excited. But then she also said she would like to stitch this and would like the conversion, and so I felt bad for taking what is possibly her silk for this project. So I told her, you know, whenever I finish stitching it, I'll give her my leftover, whatever I have left over. Hopefully enough for her to, you know, if she has more in her stash, to match it up. But the only problem with some of these Vicky Clayton silks is that the colors are a little light. Some of them I really like, but then, so this yellow was just way too pale. So I pulled it out, and I'm using this MPI 693. And then the green for the grass was also pretty pale. And so this is the DMC. So I was searching online for different versions of this to see what other people had done. And my friend Michelle Cozy Egg also had the Vicky Clayton conversion, and she ended up just using the DMC instead of this green, because she also thought it was pretty light. So I had already done some of the green, and I pulled it out and put that DMC in it, and I like it so much better. And this is on 40 Count Vintage Light Exemplar by Lakeside. So thank you again, Swanky Sim. I appreciate it so much, and hopefully I'll be able to, so I'm really trying to be careful with the silk, like using every last little bit to really make it last. And I want to try and get this finished soon so I told her I'd give her my pattern and my leftover silks. I may have already said that, lack of sleep. So, so I can get that back in the mail to her, because I really appreciate it. I mean, our community is so, it's just so giving and thoughtful and kind. It's just, really, I don't know, it's hard to describe it. It really warms my heart that we have this great community that's willing to help each other out, and it's just really nice. So yeah, I may change this orange, because it's also, I don't have it, but it's 920 DMC, which is much darker. So we'll see how it goes. So that I worked on quite a bit last week. And then I think I worked just a teeny tiny bit on Consider the Lilies. And I don't know if I showed the front of this, but that's Francis Eden handwork samplers. So if you want this, call or email the attic and get on the list to get this pattern. So every now and then they do bring it back. Okay, so yeah, I didn't work on this much at all. All I worked on was this little flower pot there, flower basket. So not much at all. I really need to get back to this. I need to just, it's this moving, it has me all stressed out. So it's really hard to concentrate on one thing right now. And coronavirus is not stressing me. Like I said before, I'm a homebody. Not much for me has changed, except I'm not going to work. So main places I would go is grocery store, cross stitch store, work. And our cross stitch store opened last week, and I thought, I can still do mail order, but I noticed they had some Picture This Plus in, and it hasn't been in since before market or right around market. and I was waiting on some vellum that I had ordered, and I asked if I could switch it, because it was 40 count. I asked if I could switch it to 36. I'm really liking the 36 Picture This Plus lately. And she said, sure. So I ran up there and got fat quarter of vellum, which is just kind of a really pretty neutral. It's very light. It has a little variegation or modeling. Not a lot, but it's kind of gray. It's just really pretty. And then I noticed they had some fawn in, which I'm loving this fawn right now. So I got a fat half of this in 36 count. And then I got some ancient for the Blackbird Sewing Club for the project in there. Try not to show the pattern for these projects, and a fat eighth is enough for both of them. And this is 32 count, which is what it calls for. So then I started collecting fabrics, more fabrics for this. So I got, so this is 32 count Legacy, and I was gonna do 36 count, but I decided to go with the 32 count. And then I ordered fat quarter, and the dye lots are kind of different, but I think I can pull it off using them together. This one's a little browner, this one's a little more golden. So that one is for that for this, that roll. That uses 32 count. And then the bag that goes with it. Here's the bag. So I think I can get away with using those together. And then I just pulled some others for the other project. Some wren and another little piece of fawn and some sand. And I'm just got them in here, and then I also got another little piece of 36 count Winter's Brew. I don't know if it's Winter Brew or Winter's Brew, to do that drum in the front. So I just decided to start at the beginning. The rose tips and ivy drum. Try not to show the pattern. So this one. And I went ahead and started it. It smells so good. So these colors, I pulled just those pinks, or kind of peachy pinks, pinky reds and greens and browns. They're almost like Christmassy colors, but it's not a Christmas design. So that's for that one, and then I have the rest of the threads for the other projects on here. So I'm just keeping it all together in the bag. And like Brenda says, Blackbird design, definite comfort stitching. And speaking of Brenda, while I was at Fire Poppies, I decided to go ahead and get Oh Joyous Day, which is what she's working on. And when I first saw it, it just seemed so funky to me, like these huge flowers and a huge bird, but now that's what I really like about it. And so the 36 count legacy I had set aside for the sewing club I'm going to use for this. And I actually had, I think I had all the threads that it calls for already in my stash, so that was nice. Definite future start. Then I saw this 36 count sand dune, and I thought it was really pretty. And that is by Tropical Stitches, and this is a hand-dyed fabric, and she had 40 count and everything, but I'm kind of liking 36 count right now. So I also got that, and I will post links in my blog to these shops. And then, so I got a couple things from Kitten Stitcher. I got Plum Street's Blue Skin and Plum Street Samplers Liberty Inn. Sorry for glare. But I'm all into her patriotic designs lately. And then went ahead and ordered some linen from Fire Poppies. And I saw this while I was there, but didn't get it. And this is R&R Vintage Gray. So pretty. And I thought the threads for Liberty Inn would look really pretty on it. So pretty. And then Liberty Inn actually calls for vintage maple sugar. And I thought I had some in my stash. And where did I put it? Oh. And I had it with this pattern. I had started last Mania. And this is a Gentleman's Daughter. Really cute with the British flag. And it's a Jane Austen quote. I think it's a Jane Austen quote down here. He is a gentleman and I am a gentleman's daughter. So far we are equal. And I thought, you know, that was really cute. And I only had stitched the bottom part. And then I unkitted it, put it away. So I actually got the threads back out. And I might get back to this. Because it's a really cute design and not very big. And I need some smaller projects. And then Blue Skin, I was thinking of stitching on this Purely Primitive. It's an old fabric I've had in my stash for years. These threads are not going to cooperate. I thought it would look really pretty. And then I saw Deborah Cranberry Stitcher, is that right? I think on Instagram. She had done it on a vintage exemplar, and that looked really pretty. So I'm kind of maybe rethinking my choice. We'll see. So, I think that's it for stash. I did end up tea and coffee dyeing some fabrics today. So this is vintage country mocha that I tea and coffee dyed, just to grunge it up a little, make it a little darker. This one I think is also, yeah, this is also vintage country mocha. So the other side of Vintage Country Mocha is Light Mocha by Zweigart. So this is like the painted side, and then this is the plain side. So either side you could use. And then let's see, this was, which one was this? This was corn tassel. So I just, I wasn't like loving the just plain white. So I just tea and coffee dyed it, put it in my toaster oven for a little bit. I sprayed it with some walnut spray just to kind of grunge it up. And this turned out so soft. It got rid of some of that sizing. It's really nice now. Of course, I have a little bit of stitching there. If you check my fabrics in my stash, you'll see that on a lot of them. Little corners of stitching. And this is 37 count Russian tea cake that I grunged up. So this is gonna make some nice primitive stitching. But you can see the difference in the color. A little bit. This one's a little lighter. This one's a little darker. So it's funny, it's all the same tea and coffee. It just depends on your base fabric. This one was an R&R that had like a white splotch. Something happened in the dyeing. So I just went ahead and, that's really primitive, this side. This side's a little more subtle. So I just went ahead and over dyed it. And then this was light mocha. So it's just a really pretty, almost looks like vintage exemplar or Meadow Rue or something. So I'm really liking that. And it didn't really get any modeling on it. So this is just kind of plain. But yeah, I think I'll be more apt to use those since they're not just, plain white or cream or gray or whatever the colors were. One other thing, where did that go? Here it is. So I'm really kind of wanting to stitch a red sampler. Trying not to order anything right now. I had to pay for a summer class for my college, for my son who's in college, and scholarship doesn't cover that. So anyway, just trying to, reduce the spending. So this sampler I thought about starting, and this is Antonetta Bove. And it is September 13th, 1910. And my mom actually stitched this, or she almost stitched it. I think this is 35 count straw by Weeks Dye Works. And I believe she used Blackboard by General Arts. It's a bluey black. It's really pretty. And she didn't finish it, so I may go back and finish it or just leave it as is. But I was thinking of stitching mine on either creme brulee or parchment and using Gloriana cranberry. I think I'm kind of leaning towards the creme brulee. That would be really pretty. I don't know, I like them both. So that will be maybe a future start. So I think that's it. Is that it, Ginger? She's so funny. She's so good. She's like Teresa, Kitten Stitcher's 0. She likes to be held like a baby. I think that's it for now. I've got a huge mess on the ground I need to clean up. Blank walls, but stuff all over. Oh, I also forgot. So from Kitten Stitcher, I got this little hoop for this, to quote Shakespeare. And Fire Poppies had the 5x7 oval box for it. So I doubt I'll do my own finishing, but I have the box in case I want to. Or I'm not sure if Faye can do this. Faye, can you do these? Let me know. So I did send a package to Faye, so that'll be fun to get back. She is, I saw, I believe on Facebook, she's about 10 to 12 weeks out, so it'll be a couple more months till I get that, but that's perfectly fine. I told her it was no hurry, so it'll be fun to get that in the mail. It'll be like getting a surprise in the mail. So I guess that's it. You guys have a great week, and I will talk to you guys later.